When did you meet Will Smith? All right, let's do this. First of all, I'd like to say as a PSA to America that Texas Tech University can burn to the ground in eternity for the worst bad beat in history and ruining the big game bet. Up 31-30 with just 38 seconds to go. The only way you lose betting plus 6.5 is if Texas Tech decides we're throwing a pick six and Oregon decides we hate life, we're not kneeing. Texas Tech, bleep yourself. Number 2 on this list.
And you know what the funny thing is? You called that, you and Cookies, and I'm like, Mike, what are the odds? That's not going to happen. They're just going to go down there. They're not going to throw a pick six. They just threw an interception. He's running towards the end zone. They just threw a pick six. I have nothing to say.
Heed my words. Never say what will beat you moments before it does. Number 2 on the Weekend Report. Rico, did you ever hear the one about the coach who lost $80 million pounding his beanbag? Guess not.
I guess, yeah, you know what? I've heard something about that.
Number 3, I just wanted to make you smile. Smile, as John L. Smith would say. Smile. All right, number 3, Texas is so back, people. It's more than just hook 'em. They're the best team in America. Change my mind, Rico Beard. We want Georgia.
You know what?
We want Georgia.
I can't because they did something that most people can't do. You go into Tuscaloosa and you won. Now, that's not the same Alabama team.
Yeah.
That's the same crowd, same stadium. It's just intimidating. You're automatically down 10 points.
We want Georgia.
You didn't just win. You dominated the game.
With that in mind, Bama's dead. I mean, Clemson dead. Saban has lost his fastball. They don't have the NFL skill talent. They don't have a Bama defensive line. Rico, massive changes needed at Bama. Change my mind.
That's a little too far.
Damn
that's
it.
Still,
Okay.
now, you know what?
It just felt good to say.
I know. That's still Nick Saban. He's still going to get top-tier talent. They're like Ohio State, did not have the heir apparent at quarterback, and you're seeing it.
Truth.
They can't keep it rolling.
Rico Beard, Mel Tucker is dumber than bricks. Your thoughts?
Mistakes were made.
Note to Kansas, we don't need 12 cops to protect the goalposts when no one's at the game. Did you see the pictures?
No,
it's an empty stadium. There are cops forming circles around the goalposts.
Because you beat Illinois?
For a crowd that wasn't able to storm because they weren't there.
Because you beat Illinois. Not Kansas State, not Texas. You beat Illinois. Okay.
More cops than people. I'd like to bring up an issue of malpractice from the weekend, everybody. When did you meet Will Smith? How did Matt Rule not bench Jeff Sims? His quarterback was offensive. I mean, it was more than just you didn't know where the ball was going. 4 turnovers in the half. Fumbling multiple snaps, fumbling running the ball, a horrific interception on a telegraph throw. The broadcast, even moron Gus Johnson is like, this young man is ruining this game for the other kids. And everyone said, there's no way they could start Jeff Sims in the second half. Cutscene, Matt Rule, Jeff Sims in the second half.
Tells me that's all you got. Because if your fall off between quarterback number 1 and number 2 is so great. Because it makes no sense. He has 6 turnovers in a game and a half. So it just tells me Nebraska has nothing at QB. Either that or they run the Wildcat.
I'd like to give you the Brian Ferentz update. If that name sounds familiar, it's Kirk Ferentz's son. He is the offensive coordinator at Iowa. And in order to keep his job / hit his incentives, he has to average 24 points a game. Well, despite being 2-0, Brian Ferentz is 0-2 at accomplishing his goal because they've scored 20 and 23. Rico, what on earth? If you can't score 24 points in 2023's version of football, should you be allowed to keep your job regardless of record?
No. Well, see, that's going to be the ultimate paradox. What if they end up going 12-0, but they can't crack 25 points You upgraded the quarterback situation by bringing Cade in there, and you still
They're horrific.
He may not be good at his job.
And we've now arrived at what I like to call the truth. All right. Is Gus Johnson brain dead? A serious discussion.
Okay.
Moments after Joel Klatt went on a soliloquy about how the quarterback must stay in bounds to keep the clock running so they can bleed it down and kick a field goal in this Colorado game. Gus Johnson, doing his normal yelling and screaming idiocy, says, and he smartly goes out of bounds. Total silence until Gus jumps back in. Joel jumps back in and goes, Gus, actually, that was the complete wrong thing to do. Can someone check on Gus Johnson?
I think Gus just likes to hear Gus. Gus just needs to fill the space with words and things and stuff like that.
Gus Johnson or Satan?
Well, I'm still going to go with Gus.
Okay.
But I see where you're going with this.
Dante Moore is him, as the kids say, the Detroit MLK product who is starting for UCLA. I've now watched 2 weeks in a row as he's rotated in and out. Guys, I understand staying up late to watch football is tough. Dante Moore is that dude. Wow, does he look good as a true freshman.
I got to be honest with you. I owe Dante an apology. I thought he was going to be good, but I didn't think he would be good in year one. I thought it was going to be best for Chip Kelly to sit him. I didn't want him to get Spencer Rattler, and which means that he goes out there too soon and throws interceptions, loses his confidence, and has to transfer out. But watching him and what he is doing, Chip Kelly, bravo. You jumped in at the last second to get this kid. And I think the Big Ten is going to be excited when they see him playing for UCLA next year.
His ability, the quick release, and he's got a nuclear arm.
He does.
It's unbelievable.
I thought he needed some time. I thought that going from playing in the PSL to the Pac-12 was just, you know what? That's just a little too much too soon.
You know what?
I owe him an apology. He's ready.
Here's what I'm going to say. Overreaction, I don't care. It feels good. UCLA's a dark horse in the Pac-12.
Really?
If this is that dude, if he only going to get better from here. And they're a freight train on offense. Great offensive line. Very few teams in the Pac-12 have a front seven capable of handling that. Dark horse, not a favorite. Rico, he's
over
good.
Oregon State?
I did not say that. Benny the Beaver, FTW.
Gotcha.
And our last note is a PSA for a coworker. If you see Jim Costa on the streets, be nice to him. Because his alma mater, CMU, a.k.a. Safety Schools State, should be contracted. Their program should fold. They needed a Houdini escape against New Hampshire, winning 45-42, wellness check on cookies, and Jim McElwain, they don't throw a forward pass. Not because they don't want to, people, because they can't. CMU may have the worst quarterback in America, ended already before my pod partner goes Michael Douglas and falling down with a baseball bat. Rico, how have we arrived here for CMU?
It's a lot like Sims for Nebraska. You really have nothing else behind him.
Oh, my.
I mean, you would think that you would have a freshman, a walk-on, something. Not saying you got to be Dante Moore, but let's just go ahead and play the freshman and see what he can do. But they're sticking with Bert Emanuel Jr.
Jim showed me highlights from his phone since the game was on Soaring Eagle Network or whatever it was.
Is that real?
No. And he showed me one of the most egregious interceptions you'll ever see. If this is the quality you're putting out there for the wellness of your fans, shut the program down.
He should be the backup. He should be the trick play quarterback. He is not the main quarterback. He is the goal line, the 4th and 5, where he can scramble and do something. But this, wow.
We return to your phone calls in a moment. That is the Weekend Report.